Hey guys, bit of a different video today. I was actually asked to be part of a collaboration recently. Myself and a bunch of other manga tubers, specifically ones who are really into Vinland Saga, all came together to do a bit of an event, if you will, a special, called Vinland's Finest, where we are all to pick a chapter, one of our favorites in the manga, and make a video about it, talking about why we love it. So here I am today. We're going to be taking a look at chapter 93 of Vinland Saga. This takes place near the end of the farm arc. So if you're not up to at least the end of that, I'd recommend piecing out, because we're going to get into this here. Now, when it came to actually choosing a chapter, it wasn't really tough for me at all. This chapter in particular has probably always been my favorite chapter. I've stated before that this right here, Vinland Saga Book 7, specifically Volume 13, is one of my favorite volumes of manga ever. Chapter 93 is the conclusion of it, and Man, it hits. And while it's not the finale of the farm arc, which I also think is absolutely amazing, it does sort of resolve a major important part of this story arc. So let's take a deep dive, shall we? So the chapter opens with like the immediate aftermath of the battle that was going on between the farmers and Knut's forces. A battle they never really stood a chance against. And here we have Kettle, our boy Kettle here, still alive, but barely. Now I found Kettle to be a very fascinating character, because when you first meet him, he kind of sounds like a chill dude. I mean, just the fact that he lets slaves buy their own freedom, you know, slave owner, still bad, but for the time, that was pretty progressive. And then we learn all this history about him, being this amazing warrior from the past. But then, after he gets betrayed by Knut, it sort of all unravels. He loses his mind, to put it lightly. And then we also learn from Snake that he has been a fraud this whole time. He's not who he says he is. He's been lying about his identity for clout. So you see a character that was meant to be likable, all of a sudden just be completely taken down several notches to an absolute monster. This, of course, leads him to essentially murder Arnheid. Not intentionally, I don't think, but still, a monster. Probably one of the worst things to happen to someone in this manga of a lot of bad things happening to people. And all of this sets up the stage for chapter 93, where after this quick glimpse of the battlefield, we cut to, of course, Arnheid's death scene. In the previous chapters, she already talked about how, her family's waiting for her and going to heaven and all that shit. It's such a cruel and crushing moment where you have Einar and Thorfinn desperately trying to save her life. Her final words about knowing that the baby inside her is already dead, questioning what she even has to live for anymore, which of course hits Thorfinn super hard because, this whole arc, he had been refinding his reason for living. And here she is, just taking him back to the moments where he thought there was no point in living. So when they realize they can't save her and she's passing away, Thorfinn, of course, tells her of Vinland, this magical place across the sea with no war and peace, all that fun stuff. I think Leif Erikson's presence in this scene makes it even more emotional, because Leif realizes that, even though Thorfinn doesn't remember much from when he was in Iceland, this is one story that, thanks to Leif, has stuck with him and has been motivating him this whole time. And then she passes away with Thorfinn asking her to come with them to Vinland. Now, I think this moment is even better now in retrospect, when we've had, 10 years of chapters after this. And I won't get into it much, but there is a moment, one of the best moments in the series that only happened recently, that calls back to this scene, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. But the emotional roller coaster has not stopped, because this scene is immediately followed up with Snake and Kettle showing up. And Einar, knowing that Kettle was the one who beat his love to death, goes absolutely berserk. And here's where Vinland does something that it does all the time, and I really, really love it. Parallels, baby. Yes, it is no accident that Einar's reaction is similar to that of a 6-year-old Thorfinn who had just lost his father. Einar has had a pretty rough life, but not nearly as rough as Thorfinn's, okay? He does not know what it is like to be a warrior, what it is like to kill someone. This is something that him and Thorfinn talk about multiple times. And Thorfinn is always warning him not to go down that path. But he seems to forget all of that as he completely snaps and tries to cut off Kendall's head. But unlike Thorfinn, when he was only 6 years old and had no one left to take care of him, just a bunch of meathead Vikings, Einar actually has someone who cares for him and doesn't want him to go down this path. So Thorfinn is able to stop him, effectively ending, Einar's curse before it really even begins. Who's to say what would have happened to Einar at this moment if Thorfinn didn't do something? So now here we have Thorfinn, who just sent Arnheid off in probably the most beautiful way he could have, and then here saving his friend from, either a quick death or a life of tragedy. And it really puts into perspective just how much he has changed as a character this arc. From feeling like his life has absolutely no meaning, directionless, just going through the motions every day, chopping trees down, not doing much else, to being an actual caring person who cares about his friends and does not want them to go down the dark paths that he did. Then Einar lets out a cry, cause that's all you can really do in this situation, man. Rough stuff. When the anime gets to this point, I'm not gonna be okay, let me tell you. Then there's the burial scene, and yeah, this is a very important moment. Not only is it epic as fuck, it gives me chills every time I read it, but it also serves to set up the entire rest of the series. Einar and Thorfinn, after everything they have seen, after everything they experienced together, are now free men, and they decide that they are going to settle Vinland. They don't know how they're gonna do it, they don't know how long it's gonna take, but for Arnheid, they want to create a world of peace with no war. Will they be able to do it? It's still up in the air, but it is a very noble dream and absolutely something worth striving for. Now, the arc's not over yet. There's a whole bunch of shit going down with Canute still, but this really felt finale tier. It was just incredible. And as good as this whole series is, I don't know if there's a single moment in it that tops this one for me. So there you go. That was my favorite chapter of Vinland Saga. Let me know yours in the comments down below. And also in the description, I think we'll have a link to a playlist which has all the other collaborators for this project. I would highly recommend checking out all those other videos because I know a lot of these guys are way, like, hardcore Vinland Saga fans, and they probably have some videos that they put a lot more effort into than this one. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Big thank you to Jerky Bacon for inviting me into this collaboration, and I'll see you all at some point for a new video.